Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining to the first webinar of the European Choral Association in 2024. And this is also the first webinar in the frame of the new project called Choral Ties that is co-funded by the European Union, and we are conducting it in this period of time from 2023 on. And before we dive into the content of this webinar, I would just like to mention that we are recording and streaming the webinar on Facebook. And I would like to ask everyone who doesn't want their face to be seen to turn off the camera. And also, please be muted during the presentations. And I guess by now you already know me, but for those that joined us for the first time, my name is Joji Vogue, and I'm an assistant for regional development at the European Choral Association, and I'm also in charge of online trainings. And today I will be guiding you through this session where three wonderful presenters will join me to give you some tips and tricks on repertoire building and concert programming. And at the beginning, we will listen to Burak Onur Erdem from Turkey, who is deeply involved in choral sector and choral music through the various positions he holds in different choral organizations. He's also vice president of the board of the European Choral Association, very active member of the board of the International Federation of Choral Music, and he is also a wonderful cultural manager, but above all, Burak is time and again conductor with a lot of experience regarding building and choosing the right repertoire for different occasions. And he's also the main conductor of the Turkish State Choir. So in the second part, we will learn where to find scores, where else as in the online library of one of the world's richest database of choral repertoire, Musica International, that will be presented by the Pierre-Luc Pfrimmer, music librarian and coordinator of Musica International. And finally, we will wrap up this session with the youth energy that the members of our youth committee are bringing to the Sing Me In project. This is an inspiring project that aims to support the integration of young migrants into the community of collective singing. I must excuse Alba Roorda Martinez. She got sick, so we wish her a lot of health. But today we have with us Joana Costa, and she will present us the project and also updated repertoire guide that can help you in this process. So a big, big welcome to all three presenters. But before we give the word to our guests, I kindly invite our Secretary General, Sonia Greiner, to say a few opening words. Hello, Sonia.
Thank you very much. Normally, it could have been the Vice President to say the opening, but since he's going to speak, I'm going to speak on behalf of the European Choral Association. I'm very happy to welcome you to this very first webinar of the Choral Ties project. And the Choral Ties project is a new project we started at the end of last year together with other partners. So we are doing it together with the Estonian Choral Association, with the Croatian Cultural Association, and with Karus Verlag. And we are promoting some of the activities together with IFCM for the international dimension. And the project Choral Ties is about cross-border training on international and European level for professionals in the field of collective singing. So we will have some training courses in Estonia and in Croatia. We will do some activities in connection with the Leading Voices event that will happen in Tallinn, Estonia, at the beginning of July next year. There will be some sessions that we will stream, and we will also organize a young event management program. We will do some study tours, one to Georgia and Armenia this year, and hopefully one to Lebanon next year. Some peer-to-peer exchange between Europeans and non-Europeans, and also another training program for young managers co-organized with IFCM. And we have a series of webinars where all the partners of the project are offering webinars at certain moments in the project, and we are offering this opening webinar. And repertoire is something that we are often asked about. How can I learn? How can I find out how to choose my repertoire wisely? And we thought it was a fitting topic. And I would like to say that I'm really happy to see many well-known people that I have partly not seen in a while, and who are also joining from quite far away, some of them, as well as some new people, and we hope you will enjoy this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia. I would just like to say just a few more words how the session will work. So at the beginning, we'll listen to all three presentations. And at the very end of all presentations, there will be opportunity to ask questions. So those of you that are joining us on Zoom, just raise your hand to ask questions, or you can also type them in the chat. And those that are with us through the Facebook stream, you can ask your questions in the comments, and those will be passed to us in the Zoom. I would just really kindly ask everyone to turn off your microphones and to be muted, as we already have some problems with sound. Thank you very much. And now I would just like to finally start and give the word to our dear Burak, that I kindly welcome among us. Thank you, Burak, for joining us and taking your time to share with us your experiences and perspectives on effective programming. So this online stage today is yours. I will just stop sharing and give you the floor.
Thank you, Yoji. It's a pleasure to see all of you. Well, not to see because many of the cameras are closed, but it's fine, and we can start to talk. I'm very happy to see also many familiar faces, as Sonia said, and also a little bit under stress to tell you about programming to such a fantastic team of listeners. But let me try, and then I am really happy to then get your questions. So I will talk very briefly about how I try to make my programming. I speak here on behalf of, under my head of the principal conductor of the Turkish State Choir, which is a 70 people singers professional choir based in Ankara. I will talk more about it, but let's dive in to the topic, and then maybe we see some interesting content. So here you see some of the posters of our last year's program. You will see all of them are in one kind of design. So that's something we are trying to do, to have one concept or one theme throughout the year and then continue with this. And selecting repertoire, it's very challenging because you can have many. There's a lot of music in the world that you can perform, but you have to select some of them and put it into the concert programs. And the first part we will call repertoire selection, and the second part we call programming. And I want to make a point when we are working with the choral arts that actually we should never forget we are working with humans and real people. So that is something that distincts choir music to, for example, being a pianist, because then you play with your instrument and you have unlimited hours for yourself because you choose when to work with your instrument. But with the choral art, it's a bit different because we are responsible of people, just like an orchestra. And this means we have to be very careful and we cannot try out too many things. So what I mean is we have to be conscious of the repertoire we select, conscious of the voices that we are working with, and conscious of the time that we have with the singers, both if you work with a professional choir, because then you have a limitation by law, how long you can work with the choir, or if you work with amateur choir, the same, because you have a limited time of rehearsal. So before going into this, I think it's always a good question to ask ourselves, what do I want to tell? And what does the choir want to tell? What is the story? And as you can see, this picture I just generated today in the morning with artificial intelligence, and I think it's quite nice. It's quite nice. It's showing a very human, it's a paradox, it's created by artificial intelligence, but it's showing very human moment And when we do music with the choir, it's a very human thing. With the human voice, we communicate a story to other human beings who are the audience. And so what is the story? And maybe you know the Golden Circle by Simon Sinek, which is a motivational speaker and a writer, and I like this idea very much. This is something he talks about in this book. Start with why, because we know if you know what do we want to tell, then we should figure out how do we want to tell this, what means do we use, and how do we rehearse, how do we prepare. But in the core, there is this question: why do I want to do this? And I think it's a very important question to ask as conductors or as choral leaders, vocal leaders, to ourselves. Why do I want to do this? Because at the end of the day, we are taking time of the people, not only in the concert, but in the rehearsals and in the season. And time is very precious. It's only one asset we cannot get back. So you will never get back your 20 minutes that I talk right now, and I'm thankful for this to you. And time is very important. So we have to be very, very conscious on the decisions. So I think it's a good idea to connect when we select the repertoire to the story I want to tell, to the core beliefs and core thinking and my emotional and the choir's emotional ecosystem. By ecosystem, I mean, it's not only me, it's all the singers. So I find it very precious to talk to the singers about what do we want to tell. And of course, there are some very, very basic things. You know, what is the level of my singers? What kind of music do they want to sing? And can they sing? And I should also not select a repertoire that's too easy. Hello. Somebody just wanted to say hello. That's too easy for the choir, but it should also be not too challenging. That's something we are, as conductors, I think a mistake that we do a lot, that we listen to one piece of music and we think, oh, that sounds great, so let me try out. And then suddenly we find out the professional choir recorded it very well in the Baltic countries, but it doesn't fit to my amateur choir. So we have to be very conscious about this. And what does the choir need? And what kind of music gives excitement to the singers? And I also think long-term planning is also a good idea. So what kind of repertoire can I use next year so that I prepare some of them in this year's rehearsals and concerts? And then after I select the repertoire, which we will actually talk about a very, very useful tool in the second part of this webinar about Musica International. Pierre-Luc will talk about this, but let him do this presentation. So I go back. Suppose we select our repertoire. So then we have to program it to the season. And that is something fun, but very something that we have to work on really carefully. I give you an example of my choir. In Ankara, we have this professional choir, that's the national choir of Republic of Turkey. And you see some images, so you can imagine the choir is doing a lot of diverse stuff. And I can tell you already, this choir has symphonic concerts and a cappella projects, days for children and schools, what that we call education days. We have a master class and we have open singing events. So it's more than 50 events per year. That may not be the case with your choir, but even if you do 10 events, even if you do 2 events per year, it's really important to program it in the right way. So how do we fit the music that we selected into the season? And then I think we have to ask ourselves some questions. And these are my questions that I ask. How many concerts do I need to do? And how long are these concerts? I have a list. I actually have an Excel file where I have the length of the pieces, and then where I write, okay, this piece is known to the choir, so I don't need too many rehearsals, but this piece is new and it's hard, so maybe I need 3 rehearsals to make it come to reality. And so I have very simple a coding system. So for me, I have easy, middle, or hard new pieces, but I really write them on an Excel file, and then I try to see what kind of concerts do I have and how much time do I have to prepare them. And I want to show you something fun. Yoji, can you tell me if in the screen you see something that's called concert day?
Yes, in the right corner is concert day. Otherwise,
Yes,
you see only blue.
Because I cannot see it because you are there, but I know from you see it. So let's take the concert day as a last point of our journey, okay? So if we go one step back, there's a general rehearsal, huh? And if we go one step back, there is something I will call bring the piece to the reflex of the choir. Reflex, I mean in a very physical way, that they sing the piece like when you wake them up at 3 a.m., they will start singing it. So they know it in their brains and body. And then I need some rehearsals before that I work on depth. I worked deep on the text and the articulation and agogic and phrasing and dynamics and many other nice things about music. And before that, I have to make the choir familiar with the piece. And then comes the first stage, the reading of the piece. So now you can read it from left to right, not like Arabic from right to left, but from left to right. And you see a process. And I like to make this process, think about this process from the last day to the first day. So I give you numbers of rehearsals that are arbitrary now. Let's say I need 3 rehearsals for the reading and 3 more for the familiarization with the piece. Then I need 5 rehearsals. I want to really go into depth. And 3 more for making it really run through, and 2 rehearsals as a concert rehearsal, and then 1 concert. Okay, so let's see. I go from the last day to the first day, and let's just give the number. I made up 17 rehearsals for that program. Good. So what to do now? If today would be the concert date, 16th of April, then I have to have a general rehearsals 2 days before, 14th of April. Good. And then I go some days back, exclude the weekend. I go 8th of April, I have to make this rehearsals where I really work on the reflexes of the choir. Okay, but then there is a surprise. There is a project with a guest conductor that takes already 1 week of my time. Okay, so I go 2 weeks back, and in March, I have to work in depth on that program. Okay, very nice. Oh, one more surprise. There is a symphonic project in between in March. So, okay, I lost 1 more week. So I go to the first week of March. I know I have to make the choir familiar with the piece on the first week of March. And then, very nice, but okay, 1 more surprise. I have education days in the first week of March. So let's go back to February. And okay, now I know I have to start reading the piece 2 months before the concert, because I have all these projects in between and I need all these rehearsals. That was just a fun example of how I think of rehearsal planning. And if you imagine this happening with all the programs, it's quite complex, but I think we need to do this to make the singers happy, because every singer is happy if they are at home with the piece, if they own the piece, and if they are really familiar with the piece, with the program. And I think limitations are also good. So if I know, okay, look, I have this symphonic project and I have to do this competition program. That's good. Or maybe there is a fundraising concert and they burn to hear a Brahms piece from you. Good. So you know you have the program starting with your Brahms motet, and then you go to the other pieces. So I think limitations are good. And in limits, it's really important to know what is my priority. What are the projects I have to do? Start programming with this, and then build up. The same with the repertoire. What are the pieces I have to do in this concert? And then you can decorate it with other pieces. And also, it's really important to have a contingency plan. It's a strange word, so I translate it to a very simple English. It's a B plan. It's something, if a risk happens and this concert is canceled, what do I do? So I always have to have a B plan. But it doesn't end there. What about the singers? Because we just talked in the beginning of this session. Yeah, so it's about human beings. So what we do about this in the Turkish State Choir, also in Resonance, the choir I founded in 2010, which is a very, very good level amateur choir in Istanbul. We have this repertoire working group. Sonia, I can already praise you to teach me all these systems in the European Choral Association. So this is thanks to you. We have a lot of working groups also in the professional choir, and professional singers and also amateur singers. They are very keen to work in these groups and bring some output. And what does the repertoire working group do? They propose new repertoire. They collect ideas from the world. They also bring this in a system to the artistic direction. And they also have some responsibility. They care about the right editions of scores. And because they are the singers and they know the best, okay, this is a good score, I can read it. And so they share some of the tasks of the artistic management too. And they even talk to the new composers about, okay, this is the poems we like, so would you compose for us this poem? You know? So, and we really have a singer participation in the repertoire selection that makes the singers own the repertoire, and they can always, for example, in the state choir in Ankara, last year, the singers really were burning to sing Verdi Requiem, and we listened to them and we took it in the season program. And you know, this kind of interaction with the singers, I think, is very important. I will finish in my last 3 minutes, and maybe it will last shorter, about competition programs. You'll see a very, very fun picture of Resonance singers in Arezzo, one of the very, very famous competitions. So competitions are very interesting. They are nice experiences, very stressful, but you have to represent your country, also give excellent music in very, very, very short time. So I remember in Cork competition, Fleischmann Trophy, we had to sing a 12-minute program to impress the jury. I remember Resonance got second prize, so they did a good job, but it was, of course, a very good balance between how you prepare the program and what do you prepare for the jury and for the competition. I can tell you, as a jury member of some competitions, I can tell you very openly, something we are sometimes mistaken. The jury never grades the composer. They grade the choir. So it is interesting because sometimes we like some pieces. We think, okay, this is a very good piece. Okay, but is it a good piece for your choir, or is it a good piece for Estonian Philharmonic Chamber Choir? So, you know, this is a really important question. These are the points I think is important in a competition repertoire. And I finish with this. You have to have diverse program showcasing different capabilities of your choir. It is really important to have your country's music. Everybody expects this, and this is your food. So you have, if you go to Japan, you eat sushi. You don't eat pizza only. maybe also pizza, but not only. So bring your own country's program. And I have two very strong no's. Don't only bring the music you like, because it may not be the music that it's the best for the choir. And don't bring the music only that other choirs sing very well, because it's about your choir, it's about your program. So my closing sentence would be, we have many choirs. We have at least 37 million singers in Europe, according to the Singing Europe study that we have done in the European Choral Association some years ago. So a lot of fantastic choirs, but we have to select what is our music. You cannot do everything. You know these restaurants where they sell everything. They sell pizza, they sell hamburger, they sell traditional food, they sell sushi, and they sell quesadillas, and usually they are not very good. But if you go to a restaurant with a Michelin star and they are specialized in food, you know it's a good restaurant. So you pay a good, decent amount of money for them. So I would suggest, my last sentence, specialize in the style you have a passion for and your choir has a passion for. Thank you for your patience for this short presentation. Yoji, I give back the word to you. I hope it was useful.
Thank you, Burak. Thank you very much for sharing with us and offering us insight in your work, in your systems of work. Thank you very much. And now I think we answered the questions why, how, and what. And my questions from here on is where to find the scores, where to find the music. And I guess the answer is in the online choral library, Musica International. Dear Pierre-Luc, would you agree with this?
Yes, thank you very much, Joji. And thanks to European Choral Association for inviting Musica on this webinar. I am the music librarian and coordinator of Musica, and I'm going to tell you about the Musica project. I will say a few words about it, and then I will share a short video presentation with you, and then I will add a few more words. Musica International is a collaborative multimedia database of the world's choral repertoire. It is useful for choir directors, publishers, composers, event organizers, and more generally, all people who like to selecting and discovering scores. Musica is born in 1983 and developed by a network of around 20 countries. And about 40 years later, Musica displays data on more than 200,000 musical scores. And Musica has thus become an invaluable and powerful academic search tool and a teaching resource. All information on the website can be displayed in English, German, French, and Spanish. Musica has several features, and we're going to focus on two in the following video: the presentation of a favorite piece of the month and the search for choral repertoire. So I will share my screen. Okay. And that's okay.
This video introduces you to the use of Musica, the global database of the choral repertoire. To access Musica, go to www.musicanet.org. Better, you will benefit from unlimited access if you access through the members-only section of the website of an affiliated choral federation. Musica has many benefits for the choral musician. Here are a few. Let's first visit the favorite piece of the month. Musica allows us to display all the information about a choral piece. We have bibliographic, editorial, musical information, the text, its different translations, a link to order the score, and multimedia links. Let's go back to the home page. Musica uses a powerful search engine for referencing the choral repertoire. Musica describes nearly 200,000 scores and has biographies of more than 33,000 composers. From this page, we can perform quick and simple searches in the different Musica files. To be able to do a search, you must first log in unless you come from a page of a member federation, in which case you can start directly. To create your account, click on Registration. You will then be asked to register using a completed email address and password. Once this step is completed, you can log in with your own credentials. Once connected, fill in the search form. For example, let's look for scores that speak of snow one evening in the forest. We get 3 answers in the list of results. In order to have more information, click on Details of the score. As for the favorite piece of the month, we see the full description of the piece. More precise searches are possible by using the More Criteria form. For example, let's search for pieces for mixed voices from the 19th century in Latin with piano accompaniment and written by French composers. Many other options are available to you, and you can explore them by returning to the home page and clicking on the different menu buttons. As we have seen, Musica allows us to carry out quick or in-depth search as needed and allows us to quickly browse the entire choral repertoire available. There is a lot more to explore on Musica. Thanks for viewing this tutorial and see you soon on Musica.
Okay. And if you are interested in watching this video again, it is on the homepage of Musica, and it is also available in French. I would like to inform you that Musica can assist you in your search for repertoire, and you can contact us via our website and by email, so don't hesitate. So also, I would like to remind you that if you are a member of ECA, you can take advantage of the global privilege access from the Federation's website. Other federations such as Choral Canada, Sous la Sol, or À Cœur Joie, for example, are also members of Musica, and their members also enjoy these benefits. And if anyone is a member or in charge of a federation and that does not have yet this privilege access, you can contact us too. And finally, if you are a composer or a arranger, you can include your pieces in Musica and just contact us for more details. And more generally, if you have questions, feel free to contact us. And I want to thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Pierre-Luc, thank you very much. Yes, I'm so happy to hear that in my office I have this largest and the richest music bookshelf that I can imagine, and it is just in the reach. So thank you for sharing all the details with us, and we prepared also for you another a little bit more specialized repertoire options that will be presented by our Joana from the Youth Committee, and this is the option that can help all conductors who want to actively involve migrant singers in their choirs, and it is a part of the Sing Me In project. Dear Joana, I invite you to present us the project and also the repertoire guide.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. I will share my screen. I hope you can hear me well. Some minutes ago, just a storm came and it was so strong, but now it's okay, I think. You can see the slides, no? Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting the Youth Committee to be here. I will be presenting a bit what is this Sing Me In project, and how you as conductors, as music teachers, as vocal leaders, or you can also use this in your projects. So the Sing Me In project was first launched in 2015, and basically the main aim was to collect information and also provide new resources to conductors, music teachers who would like to use singing as an integration process of young people at risk of exclusion. So 11 organizations led by European Choral Association got together and they joined forces and collected good practices in their respective professional and geographical areas. And based on that, we could produce 3 handbooks that are available for free, and they are translated in 11 languages. And we also produced a repertoire guide and a series of webinars that are available for you. This project ended in 2018, but the Youth Committee decided to revisit it this year, because meanwhile, since then, new countries entered this immigration map. So we decided to update the repertoire guide, promoting the ways of supporting immigrants and refugees through this collective singing. I will talk to you a bit about the handbooks and what you can find in which of the handbooks. So the first handbook is mainly focused if you want to have a project dedicated to young refugees in refugees camps or projects for asylum seekers. You can find in this handbook how you can structure a project like this, and we also provide simple advice on how to get started. Also, how to approach this work, as Burak was saying, when we work with choral art, we are working with people, and refugees have a very specific needs and completely different, for example, than other choirs that we are used to work. So also the approach to work with these people should be different. And also the repertoire to work with these people also should be adapted to their needs. And also it's important in terms of performances, in terms of programming, to understand how important are the performances. Is this our main goal with these projects or not? So this is one of this kind of information you can find in this handbook. The second handbook, and which I think it's very interesting, it's more directed to not only to do projects focused in refugee camps, but how to include people with migrant backgrounds in already existing choirs, which I think you as a conductor might have faced this already, and what are the key challenges and the ways to overcome this. What is also, again, the repertoire that it's better, and what is the role of the conductor, how to guide the rehearsals. And you also can find a list of projects with the same goal. And the last handbook that we have is more connected to working in a school environment, and how singing activities in schools can be so important also for integration of people, of migrants. And of course, you can find also a detailed checklist and plan how to organize these activities in your school. And then what is very interesting about this project is that we have a repertoire guide that includes musical games and songs from the main cultures of origins of migrations in Europe. And the first edition already had 30 games and songs from more than 20 countries, and it's only available in English. But the second edition is that what the youth committee is working on, and it's in final stage of preparation. And we decided to add some new countries in the list, like Venezuela, Belarus, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine. And of course, these scores that we have in the repertoire guide are available through Musica International website. So it's one of the partners for this project. And if you want to know more about this project, you can scan the QR code or go to the website and find all the handbooks. The repertoire guide is also available there. And if you have any question, I'm here to answer. I think that's all from my side, Yoshi.
Thank you, Joana. Thank you for giving us an insight into this project that is with the European Choral Association now for some time. And it looks like that is more than ever important in this period of time. So thank you, Youth Committee, for joining forces and to make some further steps also in this project. Thank you, Joana. Thank you, Pierre-Luc. Thank you, Burak. We reached the end of our three presentations, and now is the time for answers. If I ask you before to mute yourself, now you are kindly invited to unmute yourself and just raise your hand and talk to our presenters and ask them questions. You can also write them in the chat and also those in the Facebook stream in the comments, and my colleague Beatrice will pass them to us. So is anyone who would like to start this discussion? Do we have any questions? Or everything is very clear? And
Yoshi, if no one has a question, I have a question.
yeah,
I was taking my notes from Burak's presentation, and I find it very interesting, this repertoire working group with the singers from the choir, and I'm not, I'm not sure this exists in many places, and sometimes I feel that some conductors, of course, like this idea of they choose the repertoire. So how is it as a conductor? How do you feel, when they come with suggestions that sometimes you don't like so much yourself? How is it? I find it very interesting, this idea.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, I think singers, especially in long-term choirs, they have a lot of knowledge and experience that we can utilize. And sometimes they know better. But it's only the connection that we have to make, because before we had this group, it was always some individuals saying, okay, how nice would it be if we would sing this, very informal way. But without structure, this kind of info flow doesn't work. So after they started to meet periodically, because then the singers also should understand the necessities of selecting a repertoire for the choir. It cannot be only their favorite piece. It should be something that fits the program, that is okay to rehearse, that we can find or purchase the score of many, many things. And I realized they are also happy to join my pain of, and I am also happy to talk about their ideas. So it's getting more and more closer when we have these periodical meetings and output. So yeah, it's not always what you want, but that's good, because then you also learn new things.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Burak. Thank you, Joana. And maybe, Burak, also a question for you. You are a conductor of a professional choir, and you also mentioned the resonance choir. This is an amateur choir, you said. What is the difference when you work and you are planning programs for amateur choir and the professional choir? How this level of singers impacts this process that you are?
Yeah, and there are many different types of amateur choirs. Some amateur choirs work more professional.
Yeah.
I know from many countries, and it depends on what the choir needs. But for me personally, the only difference is the number of rehearsals and the amount of music I can program. Because with my professional choir, we do around 50 events a year. So a lot of music. We read and perform every week different. But with an amateur choir, if you rehearse only one day a week, 2-3 hours, then you have to have a limited number where you can master the pieces. So for me, it's the difference is more or less the amount of music I program, and of course the type of music, which is the best for that specific. I also had, for example, more like especially in my student times, I have had choirs that were beginner level, but very enthusiastic and really good singers. So then you program according to that wish of the singers. So I don't think there's a distinction of amateur and professional in that term. It's more or less what you have as human resource. That would be my idea.
Thank you, Burak. Yes. Any more questions? We have one in the chat. Thank you, Joana, for answering it, but it might be interesting to all of you to say a few words more where you can find online all the data about the Sing Me In project. It is incorporated in our website of the European Choral Association. You go to the section of resources in the upper line of our website, and there are under resources, you will find guidelines and handbooks. And there is everything about the Sing Me In project. And there you will find also other guidelines and other handbooks that you might be interested in. So this is about the Sing Me In project. I guess you all know already the Musica International. It is an easy way to find scores there, so no need to go in there anymore. If there are no questions anymore, I would just like to pass the word. Okay, will we receive the slide pack? Well, we are recording the session and everything. It will be published on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook channel, so that you will be able to see the whole webinar once again. And Burak, if you are prepared to share your PowerPoint presentation with those that registered, we can also send.
I can share it, of course. I can share this.
Yeah. So we will do also that, because after the webinar, I will send you an email with a request to fill in the survey about the webinar, and we will also share the link to recording and also to the slides. So thank you. Yeah, nothing else, I guess. So Beatrice, I would like to pass the word to you so that you can tell us a bit more how we can stay in touch, and I will share some slides with you.
Thank you, Yogi. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today, also from my side. I quickly jump in just to invite you to follow us on social media to keep up to date with all our projects and activities and events. And also, Yogi, if we can go to the next slide. I would like to remind you to be sure that you are already subscribed to our monthly newsletter, in which, of course, you will read about all our activities, but also from other events and projects in the choral world and in the European sector, cultural sector in general. And also, please check out our Benefits of Singing campaign on the website. I will put the link of that as well. And in general, let's keep in touch and don't hesitate to reach out for having more information on all our activities and projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beatrice, and also thank you to all of you that joined us from my side. We hope to see you also at the upcoming webinars. Here you can see that the next one will be on 7th of May, and we will present the recommendations for fair paper prepared by the European Choral Association. And also we will share with you the first experiences with their implementation, and also a bit broader view on why this topic is important, not only on international level, but also on national levels. So you are kindly invited to join us. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We are there for you. And from our side, that it's all for today. I wish you a wonderful rest of the evening, and goodbye.